Welcome to my ultimate guide of New World, Amazon's new MMO, and we'll go into more detail after this intro trailer.
The stories you've heard, they don't tell the whole truth. The island is indeed the place of legend. There's power and vast riches as well. But those who've gone before you have simply vanished, never heard from again. I saw the horror, the madness that overcame the crew. It was beyond any evil the world has ever known. How I survived, I do not know. The contents of this box are not of this world. They will guide you to that one, wherever and whatever that may be. Go then, Captain. Chart your course and your fate. I will say a prayer for the souls of your crew.
Alright, and we're back. So it's true, when you start out you do look like a female Bob Ross. So what we're going to do here is, just for those that haven't played beta yet, we've got all of the appearance options here: body type, face, skin tone, hairstyle, facial hair, eye color, and then features, scars, and tattoos. I have made one character before this beta, and then another one this beta, so I already have an idea of what I want to make. This guy's forehead and chin is a little too big for what I want, so I'm going to change his face in a minute, but I just wanted to show everybody the different haircuts. Some of them are really silly. That one kind of looks like Mel Gibson. Or something like that, like Braveheart. So far, I've got about probably close to 100 hours testing the game in betas, different levels of beta. I did the alpha and the closed. There was a lot of improvements by the time this version came out, and obviously, like everyone else, I was really excited when this launched the other day. So I figured I'd take the time to create a channel and a guides while we're waiting for the game to launch. Now the closed beta is over, so I'm going back through my footage from closed beta. So here's my guy. I've decided to give him a facial scar. He's got a beard and some hair that looks probably normal for the time era. So I'm using my typical name, Vengata. Used to play RuneScape with. I feel like this game's like better, newer version of RuneScape. A lot of people are comparing it to Dark Souls. I haven't played that though. So I've gone ahead and removed all of the loading screens. So this is the tutorial or guide how to fight. At first it was really strange in a unique way to fight with your mouse and to be interactively dodging and moving and blocking. It took a little getting used to at first.
Come closer. Your captain needs you. There's something wrong. I'm not feeling right. That devil storm. What in the nine hells was that about? And where is my box? I need my box. Did you take it? You build rat. Something isn't right. To come so close. It's not fair. What's happening to me? I can't die. Not like this.
Alright, so now that guy's dead like this. And we're taking his stuff. So it's telling us how to equip. We're going to take our shield, put on our shield spot. That's rations or food you need to heal yourself. And it's telling you now you can press 3 to eat the ration. That gives you health, and then it heals you over time also. So to jump, you hit space. Of course, I couldn't resist jumping right in the puddle. Also how to roll. So when you hold down your left mouse, it does a heavy attack. And when you click, it does light attack. Different weapons have different effects. There's not a difference on like a musket, for example. But when you're using a melee weapon, there is the heavy attack. Yeah. So in the beginning, you're just getting used to the mechanics. You gotta run around, kill these guys. And then you're gonna jump over this thing here. So W is to walk forward, and space is to jump. So you're basically like parkour scaling these objects sometimes. Now we've got a purchase upgrade for a sword and shield. You're going to choose the ability. There's shield rush and whirling blade, which is like an AoE. I like having an AoE ability. I already know that there's going to be fights with multiple mobs in this game from playing the other beta. So we're going to go with that. Now the auto run here, you just hit the equal button. In World of Warcraft, it's numlock, I think. But once you get used to that, it's nice. So here's a good intro or cutscene. So I'm playing on a 2080 Ti Nvidia graphics card. It's an MSI GeForce RTX 2080 Ti. That's a 12 gigabyte video card. And then I've got the i9 Intel processor, and I'm running on some G-Skill RAM. Got an AROG Strix motherboard. The graphics are pretty good, the frame is pretty good. Full disclosure, when I recorded this, the max it was allowed to record in was 1080p, although I could go 8K. So this is the first kind of like boss, I guess.
Now I know true.
So my strategy here, and I kind of develop a strategy as I go along, but food is pretty available. There's different ways to heal yourself, same with potions if you're actively doing alchemy. So I like to just attack, kind of like a glass cannon player in this scenario where I just attack. I don't really worry about dodging or blocking. It just kind of makes the fight longer. If the fight's really difficult, then you can block and dodge, but if it's going to be an easy fight, I just hack and slash. So I've sped up the regular gameplay. You don't really want to watch me like pick up flint and stuff.
Well, you don't look like one of the drowned. There's life in you yet. Aboard the ship during that storm, were you? You're fortunate to be alive. But such is the magic of this place. Eternum. Indeed. And it is where we will remain. One can evade death for centuries on this island. But leaving is difficult, if not impossible. I am Watcher Tahir Fayed, from a nearby settlement of Windsworth. And you are? It is nice to make your acquaintance. As desperate as your situation may seem, almost everyone here arrived under similar circumstances. The storm that wrecked your ship was caused by an unnatural force known here as corruption. It encircles the island, smashing ships and leaving the crew either dead or worse. Ah, well, you see, you seem to have died and been resurrected unharmed. It appears the rest of your crew came back without their souls. They wander the beach now as the restless drowned. Yes. The merciful thing is to at least attempt to put them to rest. That is part of the reason I am here. It would be better if you could do it, however. I need to stay here for others like you.
Alright, so while we're talking to here there, we leveled up to level 2. I like to pick up any of the blue pages that I see. You can read them or you can just hit T to add a journal. I end up just hitting T to add a journal feature. And then I just collected what you find all over the world there, which is basically like a supply cache. So you just hit E and collect it. Here are your attributes that you use to increase your skill, I guess. So as you level up, you get different attributes. Constitution's for health. Dexterity is for like damage for certain weapons. It shows you a picture next to it, like the rapier, sword, bow, hatchet is good. Through this time, I used mostly musket and bow and arrow. I wanted to get familiar with that. I've played a lot of first-person shooters. You know, I've beta tested Fortnite. I've played just about everything. So I'm pretty good at FPSs. I'm good at MMOs. This is really interesting to me because the first time you're able to use FPS in an MMO like this, as far as I'm aware. I'm sure there are some other ones, but not rolled out by a major company like Amazon. My overall initial interpretation of this game, New World, is that it's got really good graphics. I've got more powerful computers with more powerful graphics cards. I just wanted to play on the 2080 Ti here. I've also got a 3080 Alienware M15, and then I've got an Alienware 3090, the Aurora R12. I have all my computers mining, so technically the least powerful computer I have as far as GPU capability goes would be this one. So it's a 2080 Ti. I feel like more people are going to have this card. It's been out longer. It's more available. It's more affordable.
There now. I hope that wasn't too difficult. Some have trouble confronting the soulless ones. They're a reminder of the fate that could await us all on this island. Of course. I imagine you're quite famished after your ordeal at sea. I did not bring any rations with me, but you can provide for yourself. Gather flint and wood and fashion yourself a skinning knife, for starters. Wood's easy enough to gather from bushes around here. Flint, those are rocks on the beach that everyone trips over. Gather some of each. Then use the campfire to craft a skinning knife.
Alright, so we hit level 3 there. He wants us to make a skinning knife, which is why I've been picking up the flint on the beach. Now I can just make all my tools. So I've made my skinning knife, I've made my wood hatchet or logging axe, made a harvesting sickle, and now my mining pick. And that's going to be really important because this game is heavily reliant on harvesting and crafting. You could go the game without doing it, but there's a lot of benefits to do. So
Well done, my friend. It may not be a handsome implement, but it will get the job done. Next, you will want to go on a little boar hunt. You've been at sail for some time. How does a boar steak sound? Take down one of the boars in the brush behind me and put your new knife to the test. Then cook yourself a little campfire feast. Careful. Those boars can put up quite a fight. I can assure you that your reward will be a fine meal, however.
alright, so Tahir wants to kill that boar. So we're going to run behind him. First we're going to use our level 3 2 points available for the attributes intelligence, strength, and dexterity. I go with dexterity. I like to do damage. I think it helps you level up faster. So here's a boar. We're gonna stab him. He's dead. Now we're gonna skin the boar. And when you skin the boar, it doesn't show anything graphic. It's just, as you can see, like the highlighted boar. When it's done, it gives you the meat and the hide. In this case, we got pork. They would cut down a tree. So in order to skin a boar or cut down a tree, you need to have this flint to make the tools and then equip the tools into your equipment slots. So I like to pick up the flint. I already know that crafting is really important to me in this game. Helps you make money, just overall makes you better. So I like to do it while I'm leveling up. If there's something I need in my way, like picking up bushes here is giving me green wood. Just the same as cutting trees, except it gives you, skill for collecting a bush. But it's good to know that there's always wood available if you don't have an axe, or if there's no trees around. You can always collect a bush.
Careful. Those boars can put up quite a fight. I can assure you that your reward will be a fine meal, however.
Alright, so we gotta cook the pork or boar meat. Here's our 2 light rations, and we're gonna go ahead and make 1 wood long sword, just for now. And can't make arrows yet, no feathers, so that's it for
Nicely
now.
done. It may seem simple enough, but both boar hunting and preparing your own food are important skills to have here in Eternum. A full belly goes a long way. This beach is not a hospitable place, but you're welcome to visit the Windsward settlement. After we are done here, of course. Your ship was just one of several claimed by corruption on this day. The Windsward settlement keeps track of all wrecks on this shore. I was hoping you could help collect the records from whatever remains of these ships.
So, Tahir wants us to go check out these pirate ships that are crashed on the shore. And the reward is going to be our first bow. So I'm putting on whatever I have. There's some health potions. Old hardtack is pretty much the same as a ration, but ration's better. So as you can see, I got some glowworms, which you get under flint while picking up while it's nighttime. So depending on what node you're harvesting and what time of day or night it is, you might get a different item. In this case, during the day when you pick up flint, you get worms, which are like night crawlers, and that's for freshwater fishing bait. And when you do it at night, you get the glowworms, and those are for saltwater fishing, I believe. So when you go fishing, and I'll go over that later, you have to use bait. Or you don't have to, but it gives you a bonus. So here I'm collecting herbs. That's hyssop. I've leveled up again. I keep using dexterity. I like to have as much damage and sort of as possible. Here I decided to just upgrade that AoE. And we're going to kill these guys again and take that supply cash. Now the hyssop, I believe that, see, I'm collecting another one here. I believe that's for alchemy, for making health potions, which end up being useful because it's a lot easier to grind when you have rations and potions, and you can heal fast and get on to the next fight. So there's Territorial Standings. Here we've just leveled up for wins where we started, and I've decided to get more XP. It gives you different options. You can reduce your taxes, your trading fees, your crafting fees. You increase the storage of the shed that you get in town. You increase the XP that you gain or the speed that you harvest things. All sorts of upgrades. Keep picking up the pages. That's just a good collecting thing. I think later on, end game, when you start running out of stuff to do, that will become a thing that you like collect to get an achievement for finding them all or something like that. So killing these guys is pretty easy, which is why I'm not blocking or anything like that. As I mentioned before, instead of cutting out footage, sometimes which could be confusing as a viewer, you're going to see that I just sped everything up. So here I'm going to see how many I can fight. That was easy. There's some hyssop. You can see on the bottom the yellow bar, that's the XP bar. So on the bottom left it says I'm level 4 and a little more than halfway at level 5. I don't mind killing extra mobs on the way to the quest objective or picking up nodes, because if you do that properly throughout the game, you never actually have to go harvesting or grinding. You're just naturally picking up, harvesting, and getting XP by fighting mobs consistently through the whole game experience. Some people skip that stuff and then they have to come back later and specifically go get their skill up. You'll see as we get farther into the round here that there are trees and mining nodes and harvesting nodes and everything where there's a skill requirement minimum. And so if you don't have that minimum skill, you gotta go level up. So here I got pretty advantageous. But as you can see, it wasn't a big problem. I didn't have to use my potion, so. Leveled up. Sword shield skill. So we're going for sword mastery. It's a reverse stab move. I like having more moves. Getting 3 moves is good. You want to make sure you get the right 3 move. You can respec. I think you can only do it like once a month or something. Or it's expensive. I'm not sure yet. So in supply crates you find a lot of useful things. And it's always good to pick them up because there's a lot of quest items that pop up inside the caches too. As you can see, I'm not picking up every flint that I walk over because at a certain point, flint's useless to you. You're moving on to iron or whatever. I don't think I'm there yet. I'm pulling a lot of people. Alright, here we go. Level 5. Nice. So there's the flag on the front of the boat. Ship's flag. Take that one. And then we need a flag for the back too. I'm going to keep putting it in dexterity. I like to have damage. So we'll fight this guy. And then we'll go get the flag on the back. For whatever reason, he didn't climb here, so I thought there was another way. So I ran around looking for another way, but at least there's this big cache down here, supply crate, or supply stockpile. And there's the hiss up to my left. So at this point, I've got a lot of different weapon options. Typically, I stick with a sword and shield. I do try the Warhammer. It's a little slow and clunky for me. A lot of people swear by the axes. Another good combo is a hatchet and musket. The musket's good because it does a lot of damage, guaranteed, and if you can get consistent headshot, there's a lot of damage upgrades and like power up boosts, bonuses, whatever you want to call it. One of them is you get 3 headshots and then you have an instant reload. So some wolf might be running in at you and you shoot it 3 times and then you have another shell right before it gets to you, and that's just enough to kill it. So having those little bonuses really add up. I end up finding out that if I run to the outside of the ship and jump onto the side of the ship from the rock here, it's armor breaker. So it's supposed to reduce armor. So I jump, and it gets there. So I go up the side here, as you can see, and that's the back flag, rear flag. So we've got both flags. As you can see, there's the green marker update on my compass there. And it says that says that we're about 300 meters away. So each kill is getting roughly 20 XP. Now, as you can see on the right, underneath the New World beta thing on the top right, it says all that remains talk to Tahir Fayed. On this right side here, which reminds me a lot of Questy on World of Warcraft, that's where your active quest journals that you have pinned are going to show up, and that's usually whatever quest you're working on. What's nice about New World's version of this quest pin is that it changes depending on what area you're in.
Ah, well done. These records serve as both an archive and a memorial of sorts. It's one way the people of Windsworth can still keep a connection to the old world. Unfortunately, the Lost are the least of our problem. That storm was the worst I've ever seen. I fear some remnant of corruption remains in this area. We must try. If some poor wretch nearby has fallen to corruption, it will spread rapidly. The corruption would likely be at the settlement walls within a matter of days. We cannot permit that. I hoped you might volunteer, though I have some misgivings about sending a new arrival. I suspect the corruption may be lingering in a nearby sea cave. Check there, but be cautious.
Alright, so Tahir wants us to go to a sea cave. We are equipping our best stuff. Can't make anything new. I like to check because, as you'll see, you can get overburdened carrying too many things. But when you craft stuff, it tends to reduce weight, like a lot. So I like to check often when I have raw materials to see if I can process them into something that's lighter and more compact. Here we're mining a boulder. Everything's sped up here. So we've got our bow and arrow out. To the right of the cursor, I guess you can see the arrow count. There's the arrow icon, and every time I shoot, it reduces by 1. So we've got 35 arrows left. That's something that you're going to have to buy on the market or produce yourself. You can't collect them from quests and, regular mobs. But it takes a while to add them up, and it's pretty fast to use them. Unless you use them sparingly, you eventually get moves, because with every weapon that you use, there's unique moves that you can use with it. So you go with a 2-weapon combo. In this case, I have a bow and arrow and a sword and shield. So what you could do is use your abilities, and then when they get to you, switch to a melee weapon and use your melee abilities. A good combo that a lot of people were talking about in World Chat that they think is the best. A lot of people like the Great Axe and the Life Staff. But that's better for like grouping and stuff. If you're gonna solo, you want to get good with a hatchet and a musket, which makes sense because it's New World. It's supposed to be like colonial, sort of Spanish conquistador mixed with like magic. So anyways, we're in the Torrent Dawn cave, working on Remnant of Doom. Search for the source of corruption. So we're in the cave. I'm collecting stockpiles, but there's not quest items in the stockpiles this time. So there's this weird veil. I find you can attack it, so you just cut through. I would recommend not using a musket or bow and arrow because you're just going to waste your ammo. So there was a lot of talk about how New World was burning up 3080s, the FTW3s. This is a 2080 Ti, which is a less advanced card. It costs less, and it's having no problem running this. I'm recording Twitch Studio, screen record, and I've also got stuff running in the background. Now we're fighting this guy, Corrupted Chaplain. You can see above his name, he's got that yellow square. That means he's a quest mob. So you kill him, he's either somebody you have to slay a certain amount of, or he's going to drop something that you need to collect. And that's really nice because WoW is cool, but I didn't like having to add the necessary add-ons. Like, questing was a necessary add-on, I think. This is built into the game, so it's a questy you can trust. And you're not going to get hacked for using it or anything like that. I have to update it. Saltpeter is used to make gunpowder, but I hadn't got around to it yet. I'm not really sure how to make cartridges or bullets yet. I just bought mine. I could have saved up and used the money on a house, but I wasn't sure what town I wanted to put the house in yet, and it didn't really matter because it all got erased anyways. So that was a staff. I use this healing staff or staff of life or whatever. Staff of life magic. So it's cool and all. As you can see, there's a mana bar, the blue one that's reducing every time I attack him. It goes down by 2. So you get about 50 shots, never mind how fast your mana replenishes itself. But it seems to only recharge when you're not using it. Which leads to now, when I'm out of mana. Okay. Divine Embrace. So that's the first heal that I get. Let's see. I believe it's like a movable AoE, and you can't you can't hit yourself. Which is kind of dumb. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people playing at launch, but finding groups is hard. Like consistently finding groups to have to play the whole game in a group could be challenging without like a LFG system like WoW has. That would be a really great addition to add before launch. If any of the Amazon developers are listening to this, but adding and looking for group ability, like a tab in the game or something that you can queue for like dungeons, like the Amrine mine. So we're getting better at healing here, but this doesn't really matter because I can't heal myself. I had not used a staff before, so I just wanted to check it out. This is when I realized you can't heal yourself. So the staff is cool, but you can't like consistently kill stuff with it because of the mana issue. maybe there's better staffs for damage, like a fire staff. One thing I do like about New Worlds here is that your character can level up everything. And that's why I say it reminds me of RuneScape, because I can go around and get 99 mining and wood cutting and all this, but I can also be really good at archery, but also magic, but also wear heavy armor, whatever you want to do. I suspect that's going to add a lot of cool variability to the game. It's going to make it more interesting for longer, because like in previous games like EverQuest or WoW, you had to make a new character, and then once you made that character, like a paladin or a hunter, for example, or a warlock or whatever, you have to stick with that character. In this one, you don't have to stick with the character.
Well now, someone has proven themselves quite capable this day. To face down corruption and survive without falling to corruption oneself is quite a feat. Purging the corruption in the sea cave has undoubtedly dealt with the immediate threat. But the fact it spread to shore at all is still a serious cause for concern. Only to prepare for the day when it returns once again. The great storm preceding your arrival was a sign that conditions will soon get worse. The Windsward settlement must be warned. Yes, and take a well-deserved rest at the inn as well, I hope. Go west to the settlement and give this message to Overseer Dotti. He knows to expect it. Oh, and thank you.
So just keep adding to the dexterity. Because I intend on using a musket and a rapier. So we cook it and make everything we can, and then we head off onto our next quest. So he wants me to talk to Miklos Dotti. 445 meters northwest. I like to skin every animal I kill. It's not just because I want to get my skinning up and leather working and all that, but just because I have that, like, even in the digital world, that spiritual belief that if, like, you kill an animal, you should use it. I practiced that this whole time until I get, like, the last day of beta, because I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna have to start over again anyways. So I'll do it for sure all the way through next time, because I'm gonna have to level up my skill and make the money and all that. Might as well do it. Tracking becomes really useful as well, because being able to track animals in like heavily wooded areas, basically what that means is they pop up with a certain icon on your compass when you're nearby, so you can like find them even though you can't see them. Once you get close, you can find them. Somebody else killed a bunch of boar, didn't skin them all. That's fine if they want to do that. I was interested in learning about the whole harvesting and crafting mechanics of the game. Help me decide how important it is once the game launches. Learn what I can, how to, level up efficiently and fast, and how much harvesting I should be doing while I'm leveling up versus like if I should go back and do it later, and if that is a better benefit. Like sometimes leveling up to max level fastest makes you the most money because you can get rare items first, do dungeons and raids first, kill certain bosses first, and then you can sell that stuff. So I'm not really sure. Full disclosure, I didn't make it to the very end of gameplay here. We only had a little over a week or so And I tried to play when I could. I wasn't playing 24/7 like some of these other guys. So here we're collecting berry bushes. And as you can see, I'm getting woodlouse bait, which is fresh water. And we're getting berries. And we're also getting some bushes in there that was giving us wood. Berries are used for like a secondary cooking ingredient for a lot of higher level cooking dishes. Not like initially, but once you get to the travel ration or energizing ration, then you can start using berries and stuff as secondary. And that's going to help you save a lot of primaries, because when you're cooking, for example, if you don't have berries and you want to cook chicken or fish, and it says you need like a primary and a secondary, a primary would be like a fish fillet, which you got to go fishing and catch a fish, and then salvage a fish, which is skinning it, and then it gives you fillets and sometimes some alchemy ingredients, like, you know, fish guts or scales or whatever. Anyways, the secondary is the berries, and it's a lot easier to accumulate a lot of berries than it is fish fillets. So you want to make sure you're using secondaries and the right secondary, which is whatever is the easiest for you to get or the cheapest to use, unless it has some sort of extra bonus when you're using a certain secondary. Some of them there's crafting items that have different rarity too. So a lot like the other games, it goes like green, blue, purple, orange, or whatever. I end up getting some blues and some greens as far as crafting materials, and the stuff that you use those on are the better things that you're going to want to equip, like armors, weapon, jewelry, stuff like that. So just going more dexterity, getting ready for when we get our musket. So this quest wants us to run to town, basically. We started out in the noob town on the coast. There's my first turkey, and this is where you get feathers to make arrows, and you also get poultry and eggs. Eggs is a secondary for food, and then the green thigh, I didn't get around to using one of those yet, but for cooking, it's going to make like a high quality food that will probably be having some sort of bonus to it. Kind of like when you're well fed in World of Warcraft, or use a potion and get like some extra stats. Now looking back on it, after having started, this is now my third character, I would definitely cut more trees earlier, because when the servers launched this time, there were so many high level trees just in the forest for so long, and once people leveled up their skill after a couple days, it was really hard to find anything that looked like it was worth any like rare harvestable things. Oh, I found a purple epic snail. I think that's episode 2 or 3. So here's Windsward Village. It's when you walk into a city, it tells you the different rates. It's like housing, taxes, trade, and crafting. And those are like fees. And then I'll go over all of this in a minute, but I'm running past all the crafting stations. And as the town levels up from the quests of people like us doing the quests, the town levels up and the amenities become better.
You look to be healthy and fresh. We're glad to have you. Have yourself a pint of mead at the tavern. Have two. Ha ha! Windswood is a bountiful territory, and you are welcome here. Oh, bother. I knew this was coming to cast a pall over the day. Very well, let's see it. Yes, yes, the corruption's getting worse. We're all doomed, etc., etc. Ha! It's never good news, is it? Shattered Mountains started spewing corruption again, too. It's gonna be a long day. Should have listened to that old fool years ago. Oh well, bygones. Some old hermit came through here decades ago, raving about corruption. Guess he knew something. Heard he went toward Monarch's Bluffs. Keep an eye out for him if you're ever off that way. Yes, the Shattered Mountain. Luckily, it's across the island, but it clearly means corruption is spreading. Watcher Fayed's report only reinforces that. I trust you are the one he mentions here. Oh, you're quite a hero by Tahir's account. Oh, so let the corruption come, I say. We'll eat it for lunch. Make yourself at home in Windswood, my new friend. Take this message to Magistrate Korapati, and then knock one back in the tavern. You've earned it.
Alright, so he wants us to inform the magistrate and then get drunk at the bar. And also, we've leveled up with Windsward map faction, whatever you want to call it. This is territory upkeep. I didn't get into this. Taxes, fees, payroll, all that. That's the governor's desk. I didn't get that far into it yet. But I suspect it has something to do with just the overall productivity of the city that you're in. This is a faction card. I'm not in the right faction, so I can't take the hemp from there. But if you're in the right faction, you can just take that stuff. And as you can see here, I'm going to reduce my station fee, which is a crafting fee while I'm in the city. So I don't have to pay as much. Here we've got the stone cutting table. It's already tier 3. And I'm just cutting the stone that I mined into bricks. This is the exchange. Here's the smelter where you turn ores into bars. You can also make charcoal out of wood. And just make one just to display that. This is where you cook. So kitchen tier 4. Make some rations. Make some more rations. As you can see, I'm using eggs. So eggs can be a primary. Here's a loom. I don't have any linen yet. Or fibers. And then once you spin the fibers, that's how you turn them into clothing. Also the stone cutting, you can cut gems for jewel crafting. It's fast travel. So that's how you teleport to towns that you've been to already, and you have to pay Azoth, kind of like gas on Ethereum, which actually updates in 2 hours, I think. So if you're holding on Ethereum and mining like I am, congratulations for making it to EIP 1559. So make sure you're staking those Ethereums. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you want to use your powerful GPU to mine cryptocurrency when you're not using it. So like if you're sleeping, you should probably try mining with like nice hash or something like that. And it adds up over time. And then I take that Ethereum, I stake it, and you get interest on it. So my computers pay for themselves in like a year. And then after that, you just make a profit. So here is the town project board. There's missions. Canned fish, 50 fish fillet, 5 precision tools, hunt 3 elk, 10 fish oil, 3 bison, 5 weak mono potions, 15 firm fillets, another 15 firm fillets, a set of unyielding crude iron armor, and here's a well, by the way. You can always pull water out of a well, but it'll give you 15, and then it's like a limit. Here's some player housing. So they've got some cool looking cats or whatever in there. Rainbow lions. I did buy a house. I'm not sure how they got 25,000 bucks so fast. Here's our timber. We're gonna make all 4 of our green wood into timber and get some wood working experience. So this is an arcane repository for alchemy, and I'm making weak health potion. Ends up being really useful. Just get a little 250, 500 health bonus in a fight when you really need it. It's like having a little pocket healer. So getting acquainted with how cities lay it out and what you can do here. The town board is one of the more important aspects of the city.
Hello there, and welcome to Windsward. We're always pleased to welcome a guest, or even a new resident. I see that message in your hand. Is that the report from Watcher Fayed? If it's true that corruption is spreading rapidly now, then we must prepare. But there's no need to rush. We will take this one step at a time. Plenty, I'm sure. But for the moment, you should take care of yourself. You must be exhausted. Go and check in at the inn. Explore the town. Whenever you're ready, I'll be here.
So Deep Tea, she wants us to explore the town. We've already gotten acquainted with the town, so finding these quest objectives is going to be really easy. So my inventory is starting to fill up, but we're only about halfway to our weight limit, so I don't have to compress my inventory yet. Some free honey. That's a secondary cooking ingredient. Here's our storage shed. So to put stuff in the storage shed, you hold shift and left click. You can see I put all that stuff in there. Then once it's in there, I realize you can salvage it. So. If you ever need more water than just the initial 15 for the well.
Welcome to the Southern Breeze. May a gentle wind always guide you home. Do you wish to check in? We'd be happy to have you.
So you check in. Like I was saying, you can collect fresh water from any freshwater source. So if you just stand in the water and look down and hit E.
Oh, that was much faster than I expected. Don't even try to tell me you actually rested. But you're an adult. You can decide when and where to make yourself at home. You are now officially a resident of Windsward, whether that is temporary or not. And that means you should become acquainted with the settlement. I would suggest you start by visiting the trading post. Then check out the storage space I've made available for you as well. After that, I suppose we'll put you to work.
So she wants us to check out the storage shed and the marketplace. Trading post, just open it. Works like the auction house or World of Warcraft or the Grand Exchange in RuneScape. If you're familiar with either of those, it's basically like eBay in a video game. Here we are at the shed. This is when I realized you could salvage and get the crafting materials back and a small amount of gold, or sometimes some repair parts, which are used to repair your stuff later on in the game. So I salvaged everything. I got a bunch of flint, and basically I can craft more stuff with that.
Well now, that was easy enough, wasn't it? Feel free to store anything you like here in Windsward. We will keep it safe. We always welcome any trading goods as well. I strongly suspect that it will have something to do with drinking or preparing for battle. He's asked to see you. I would ask you to try to keep him in line, but I think it would be a wasted effort.
So we're getting near the end of the first episode here. We've learned how to play, learned how to harvest, and how to craft, and the fighting mechanics. And then we moved into the first city, started looking at town board and the different quest lines.
Ah, there you are! It's time for us to get to work, my friend. The Windswood settlement won't defend itself, you know. And you and I, we're going to make a great team. I've decided to start amassing resources, supplies, anything we could possibly need. When the corruption comes, we'll be good and ready for it. Ah, that's the spirit. Let's start with raw materials. Wood, stone, and rawhide. Gather what you can, and then get it all refined at one of our workshops.
And so,
It's good, honest
as I told you in the
work.
beginning,
Yes, I wish I could go.
collecting all that stuff was useful because that's what he wants us to do now. So I keep getting my crafting fees down, but like a lot of people complained in their reviews about how they don't like crafting and the game made them craft. And this is the example of how the game makes you craft, but it's just teaching you how to craft. Once you get over the initial quest lines, you don't have to craft anymore if you don't want to, but you should. Anyways, we're getting to the end of the video here, so if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. We'll have more updates coming out, and I'm going to keep releasing videos until launch, and then we'll make a new series. So thanks for hanging out, and I hope you enjoyed it.